background as to why many people, at least a lot more people, are having to run DNA tests. Okay, so we're going to move to what I think is the next most important piece of information. The reports also showed a significant geographical disparity, and that would be, according to them, division between mainland and island Nigerians who go for tests. It's reported that mainland tests comprises 67.5% and the island is 32.5%. I'm not even sure. I'm trying to figure out how that would apply to the heart of the matter, but I guess it's a noteworthy piece of information. Okay, good. On gender, the report states that gender dynamics in test initiation is also a factor. Reports reveal that men request 88.2% of all tests compared to 11.8% by women. All right. Hold on. Based on, now this is the funny one. Based on ethical breakdown of paternity tests, reports added that the Yoruba group accounted for 53% of the test, while Igbos accounted for 31.3%, and the Hausas came third by 1.20%. It said that more requirements were needed for male children. So the report also added that most tests were conducted on children aged 0 to 5 years old, reflecting a preference for early paternity confirmation. The age was said to be 35 to 41. Okay. What else is necessary information? Yes, and I did tell you that there were more requests made for the confirmation of the male children more than the female. So I guess that may be indicative of the cultural background of Nigerians, and maybe that would be, in many instances, people whose cultural persuasion still holds the belief that the male children are those or the ones who carry on the heritage of the family or the name of the family. All right. Let's talk. Let's talk about your, I don't know, should we talk about your infidelity at this point? Okay, let's talk about why infidelity is a thing. And we can see it play out. And believe me, these are even the ones that we know. So they're the ones we don't know. There are men who have died, and maybe they're grateful to God they never found out, because the kids or the children have been the best thing that's happened to them. I'm very sure that there are some men who would be happy not to find out. In fact, I've also heard, for example, in Igbo land, I'm Igbo, I've heard that if a man marries a woman, any child in that family is his. I'm not sure to what extent that particular cultural belief still holds, but I hear if you bring a child in, it's his son, and no matter what happens, the child cannot be taken away. I'm not sure what happens when he finds out, but for some of the arguments regarding paternity fraud states that even if the wife played away and came home with a child, it's the son is for or the child, the boy, the girl is for the family. They never give away the child, something in that regard. Okay. Let's talk about why this is a thing in Nigeria. I'm going to read you a message on Twitter. Now, I noticed that my network in the studio has been failing, and it's only just a recent thing, and I'm hoping that nothing gets in our way, because I think it's a very important piece of information. And, this is a Nigerian who holds this information, and if this is the view of a Nigerian, it's really worth contemplating. This Nigerian states that married Nigerian men can be blamed for the high rate of infidelity in Nigeria. And he states particularly the group married men, he says, because it appears as though in Nigeria, once a woman is married or has a ring on, then she attracts men. Married men in Nigeria appear to be the ones that are in constant pursuit of married men. And it was his view that we should blame married men for infidelity. Let's talk. 0201-2770-993, 0201-465-7190. Our WhatsApp number is 08095975805. This particular report suggests that there is, say, a changing dynamic to the Nigerian society. If we are having instances where people are by themselves causing their own problems, if we can call it that. And while I was trying to do some research on paternity fraud, you will not believe the amount of stories that I came by. And the only reason I'm not telling you any one particular story is because you kind of get the picture. It starts off with, and I don't think that that's the beginning of the story, but that's exactly where it begins. A man, something happens, maybe he needed documents or just out of some fear decides to go for a DNA test. And yeah, he confirms his own doubts and realizes that either one of three is not his, two of three not his, all three not his, and then the problem truly begins. And some women, actually I'll say a few to be honest, have made a case for if a woman brings home a child that's not yours, and she was speaking to the men, she advises men to be grateful because maybe, hey, something was wrong with you at the time or still is wrong with you. And if what she has been able to do is to cover your shame and bring children that are not yours to you to make you a father, you should be grateful to her that she's made a father out of you. I guess the argument for or against that would depend on what you're persuaded by, but I'm hoping that we're honest enough to hold a conversation that practically judges every... Let me not say every Nigerian. The situation judges what we do behind closed doors, and it's quite revealing to see what comes to light when the reports begin to show themselves. So, yep, on the sunny side, open thoughts, we are talking. What do you think is the reason for this? And are truly indeed women to blame for the rise in paternity fraud? Are women truly to blame? Or do we honestly think men are to blame for the rise in paternity fraud? We're talking. We're with you, 99.3 Nigeria Info. So I received a message now saying, Joyce, I don't think men will really like this conversation because they are very guilty. Wait, what do you mean they're guilty? What are they guilty of? So I need some clarity here. It's so interesting that I think this is a woman, actually. This is a message from a woman. That's very interesting. You're already throwing slingshots, and I'm wondering whether you can truly back that up. I think there is a larger view in public that holds that women are to blame. Some say, well, if a woman is going out, something is making her go out. And so maybe it's the man we have to look at. Let's look then. Hello, welcome to the show. Turn up the volume of your radio set. Make it back. Hello, welcome to the show. How are you?
Joy, good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Thank you very much for calling.
My name is Christian. I'm calling from Olivia, Papa.
Thank you so much for calling.
Joy, to be very honest with you, this topic is just got up. I don't think 30 minutes should be enough for this topic. I'm telling you the gospel truth. Joy, there are so many factors that will lead to this.
Okay.
Yes, I'm coming. I will explain to you.
I'm here.
I know of a woman. She's an Hausa woman. She's married. She has children for her husband. But because of, she's the kind of person that when she sees a man that is very, very handsome, God bless you, before you know what is happening, she will lose after that man.
Okay.
And there's a guy that got her pregnant. Up to today, the husband